Welcome to Muscle Maintenance with In Shape Fitness. I'm Coach Kim and I'll be your trainer. Today's workout is an easy to moderate level routine that's going to take about 15 minutes of your time. You need no equipment. I don't even want you to wear shoes on your feet. In fact, generally speaking, well, I don't allow shoes in my apartment in New York City, but generally speaking, with people that exercise in their home, I encourage clients and friends to work out without the shoes on so that you can really force your feet to do some work, gripping the floor with your feet, using the muscles that reside in your feet, and therefore helping to maintain that level of muscle mass and strength that you need in order to prevent foot problems throughout your life. So make sure that you shuck those shoes and let's get started with the high knee march. We're going to go through 2 warm-up moves and then 2 sets of 6 exercises. And again, for the total 15-minute period, there's going to be no surprises here, all the basic stuff, but we're going to kick it up a couple of notches if you can. Depending on your ability level, of course, monitor yourself and make sure that you are comfortable, but pushing yourself and keeping your heart rate up the entire time. So your knee lift is a march where you're bringing your knees up to about hip level. Your back is straight. You're swinging your arms forward and back. Your 30 seconds is going. Make sure your tummy muscles are engaged. And make sure that your shoulders are back. We didn't do a postural systems check, but you do want to make sure at any given point that your shoulders line up with your ears. Okay, that's the really good sort of litmus test for your postural perfection. You want to keep that chest open, and the way that you do that is by getting your shoulders back. Most of our normal functional daily life, especially nowadays, has to do with arms forward, either on a computer or some other kind of device, driving a car, right? So you round your shoulders and you close your chest off. That prevents your respiration from actively operating, and you also pull those trap muscles in your back, your upper back muscles, and the paraspinal muscles in the back. Okay, now I want you to stand still with your feet. Bring your feet together, and if you've got really good balance, you might want to bring your feet into a heel to toe position just to force the imbalance, and therefore your foot muscle grip, right? So just using your toes and contracting the muscles in your lower legs and in your glutes and in your thighs. But your arms are going to now swim through the air as though you were in the Olympics swimming freestyle. You're going to bring one arm up and around and then the other, contracting your tummy muscles and twisting a bit at the torso in order to bring the forward arm straight in front of the face, cupping the air and pushing it back behind you like you would be doing if you were swimming freestyle in the Olympics, Michael Phelps sort of style motion here. You don't need to go super fast, but you do want to feel the opening up of your chest, the warming up of your shoulders, and the back opening up for a couple more seconds. And then we'll be all warmed up here. Make sure you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Very important to take your air in through your nose. And if you have a tendency to keep your mouth open and air just comes in through your mouth a lot, just close your mouth and only use your nose for breathing. That's perfectly acceptable too, but you do want to take your air in through your nose in order to help control your heart rate a little bit better. Okay, on to the first set. So the first set will be instructional. I'm going to go through each of the exercises and you're going to get 30 seconds or so of the instruction, and then we'll do 30 seconds of execution. And then for the second set, we're going to go much faster, where we execute each move without the instructional time. All right, so the first move is a walkout push-up. Or if you're weaker, you want to take the easier road, you can just do the walkout part to walking out to a plank on your hands, and then come back to your feet. So you squat down, bending both at your hip and at your knees. You want to get that butt down. Then your hands are on the floor. You use your hands to walk out. Doesn't matter how many steps it takes you with your hands to get to push-up position, but your shoulders should line up with your hands. Do 1 push-up if you can. Then you walk your hands back. Your feet never move. Then you stand all the way up by contracting your glutes and pressing your heels into the floor. Your time starts now for 30 seconds. Now, make sure that your feet stay straight. I know, I see it all the time, where those toes start to turn out as soon as your butt gets closer to the floor. And that's because of the weakness, lateral weakness that you have. and weakness in your hips and lack of range of motion in your glutes. All these issues have caused this deviation of your posture where your toes turn out. You put more strain on your lower back, and more of your effort is centered in your quadricep muscles, your thigh muscles. So really focus on trying to keep your feet straight. As we go through the second set, you'll get the opportunity to do this move again. Just make sure that you are keeping that in mind as well. All right, now we're moving on here. We're going to do a modified grand plie in like a squat, right? So your feet are now double shoulder width apart. I want to activate those inner thigh muscles, and that's really cool. One of the greatest things about the grand plie squat or a general plie squat. Grand plie is where you lower your body down. Your feet turn out, by the way, to about 45 degrees. Your hands can either be out to your sides. If you want to do a port de bras, right? Channeling your inner ballerina here, bringing your arms in front of your body if you want, or your hands can be on your hips, but you want to lower your body down and lift your heels up a bit. That's the grand plie part. And then as you get to the bottom, pause for a fraction of a second, then lift up by squeezing those glutes, keeping the back straight. Your time is going, by the way, for 30 seconds. You inhale on your way down. You exhale as you lift back up. And again, you move real slowly. And you don't have to go all the way down to where your thighs are parallel to the floor unless you can. If you can, that's great. But the most important thing here is that you pause at the switch of directions, that apex of your repetition, the most important single moment in time of each individual repetition, because if you go too quickly, if you don't pause, momentum will help you out. And that may seem kind of great, but you don't want help when you're doing a 15-minute workout. You want to do all of the work. So squeeze on the way down, squeeze all the way back up. All right, now bring your feet together. We're going to do some bunny hops. All right, a little bit of jumping, very light jumping, landing lightly on the balls of your feet with a slight bend in your knee for shock absorption. Go ahead and get started. Your 15 seconds is going. This is a bunny hop. I add plyometrics to every exercise routine with few exceptions. Of course, obviously, there are people that can't lift off the floor, and you know who you are. You make sure you talk to your doctor. You need to have thumbs up from your physician. If you're starting any exercise program, you want to make sure you get that okay. But if you don't have any orthopedic issues, you can get your body up off the floor. That plyometric, the neuromuscular response to plyometrics is so beneficial. You've got 5 more seconds, by the way. We're going to go down to the floor next. And now lie all the way down on the floor. Put your feet on the floor with your knees bent. Your arms are beside your body, and lift up into a hip bridge. One of my favorite positions. And we do a lot of exercising in the bridge position, but we're going to just go up and down for now. 30 seconds starts now. Inhale on your way down. Exhale as you lift back up. All right, this is the hip bridge. And it is a really beneficial exercise for people that sit all day. All right, so I probably don't have to single people out on that one. Most people do sit all day. Make sure you keep your feet straight and down, toes down, gripping the floor. You've got just a few more seconds. You're likely not moving around all that much in your job, and that's why it's so important to activate and really, really help build strength and maintain strength in your hip flexors. They're such sad little muscles. So sad. Okay, sit all the way up now. We're going to do 2 more moves. First, a tabletop move. I want you to sit all the way up with your legs straight out and put your hands on the floor beside your butt with your fingers facing forward. Make sure you use the whole hand here. You're going to lift up into a tabletop by bending your knees and lifting your body up so that your knee bend is 90 degrees, your table legs are your lower legs and your arms, and then your tabletop, time is going, by the way, for 30 seconds, your tabletop is your torso and your quads, right? So you don't want any bend at the hip flexor. You want to get that butt up into the air. All you're doing here is breathing. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth if you can, or just keep your mouth closed and use your nose entirely for breathing, but hold it for 15 more seconds. All right, make sure you're using the whole hand. Don't let your fingers float in the air. You don't want to wiggle your fingers. You really want to grip the floor, and you want to keep those toes down in order to keep your entire back of the body activated as you're in this position. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Now I want you to do a sculling crunch. Since you're seated, let's just lean back. You can either lean back onto your hands or all the way back onto your elbows. And I want you to bring both knees in, feet up off the floor, then extend your legs all the way out straight. If you have like a pillow or you have lower back issues and you want to prop something underneath your lower back, you can do that. But your time is going for 30 seconds. You're doing great. Excellent. We have a second set coming up here in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Okay, stand up for me. We're going to go back to the beginning. All right, that means that we're going back to the walkout push-up or the walkout plank, and then we're going to proceed right through the second set without stopping from the walkout push-up to the modified grand plie, to the bunny hops, and then back down to the floor. All right, let's get started. Walk out push-ups. Go ahead and get started. Remember, this is 30 seconds of walkout push-ups. So you're going to squat down, walk out to push-up position, do one push-up if you can or not, then walk your hands back, stand all the way up, make sure your butt goes as close to your heels as possible, and you're going to complete maybe 2 more repetitions. You've got less than 10 seconds to go at this point. So 3 or 2 even is, pretty realistic in terms of the repetitions that you can do. We're not talking about a concern for repetitions here, just giving you an earmark, a benchmark. All right, moving on to the modified grand plie. Your feet should be double shoulder width apart, 45-degree angles with your feet, and your 30 seconds is going for the modified grand plie. Add that port de bras if you can, which is the sort of giant and graceful circle you make with your arms from straight out, palms facing forward, into that sort of graceful circle where you touch your fingers in a circle in front of your chest. 10 more seconds. Inhale on the way down, exhale as you lift back up. 3, 2, 1. Bring the feet together, start bunny hopping. Bunny hops. Now, if you're fairly strong and you're coming to this with a kind of more of a level 3-ish sort of generalized effort for muscle maintenance, then make it a twist. We're about halfway through here, or you could make it a lateral jump. You can jump to the right, jump to the left, but make sure both feet are coming up off the floor, landing lightly on the balls of your feet with the bend in your knee for shock absorption. Last 3 seconds. And then back down to the floor for your hip bridge. Okay? Your feet are on the floor, hip width apart, hips in the air, arms beside your body. 30 seconds is going. Inhale as you lower your hips down to the floor. Exhale as you lift back up. As you're in the lifted up position, your knees should be at about a right angle. All right, so that should help you understand where your feet should be in relation to your butt. You don't want them too far away, and you don't want them too close to your butt. But you inhale on your way down, exhale as you lift back up. Make sure your toes stay down. You've got 10 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Sit all the way up. Let's go right back to that tabletop position. So now your hands are on the floor, fingers facing forward. Use the whole hand. Your feet are on the floor. Up and hold. 30 seconds. All right. Just focus. Look up at your ceiling. Squeeze your tummy muscles. Focus on doing some Kegel exercises here, right, where you contract your pelvic floor muscles. Just to pass the time. I know it sounds like 30 seconds isn't a ton of time. It's very short periods of time, in fact. But it can become cumbersome mentally without moving, right? So you just want to focus on doing something. You've got that isometric contraction of your pelvic floor. Now sit your butt down and let's finish up with the sculling crunch. Last few seconds here will be devoted to your tummy. Make sure you're using your tummy muscles. Don't let any of that energy go back, migrate back to your back muscles. But your knees come in, and then you extend your legs out straight, and your hands can stay on the floor. If you want to lift them up, that's fine. But your last 30 seconds is, of course, going. And you've done a great job today. Really, really wonderful job. This, as I said before, this is kind of like a level 2, level 3, moderate level exercise routine. Try to also give you some ways to make it super easy if possible. I will be back later in the week, maybe not tomorrow, but for sure before Thursday, with a more advanced version of this routine. And again, you can go to and still set up a free account and complete an unlimited number of workouts with the difficulty level that you prefer, 1 through 5, same format that we use with this particular format in the podcasting at InMotionWorkouts.com. Again, it's www.InMotionWorkouts.com. That's our brand new browser-based application for you to set up your own workouts and customize them based on your own ability level and interest. Have a wonderful day. My name is Coach Kim from InShape Fitness in New York City. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be back again later in the week.